Привет, друзья, и добро пожаловать снова на мой канал. So in my last video, I talked a little bit about the resources that I use for learning the Russian language, so I'm just going to give you all a few of those today. So the first resource I want to talk about is the new Penguin Russian course for beginners. And the more that I've referenced other resources, the more I realize just how good of a book this is. So you can pick these up on Amazon for I think around $15. Yeah, definitely pick one of these up. So the second resource I want to mention is Sistema Kalinka. You can find these online on the official website. They have grammar books, textbooks that will have dialogue in them and things like that. So be sure to take a look at that website if you're interested. So the next resource that we'll be taking a look at is called Narrakeet. It is a text to audio software. It is a paid subscription, and what you pay for is the amount of time that it takes you to record, the different audio files. So what you'll do is you'll take your word, привет, here, and then you'll just create audio, which you can see there's different languages and also different voices within each language. But you'll hit create audio, and then what will happen is it'll take that text and turn it into an audio clip, which you can preview. And then what you'll do is download it. And once you've downloaded it, and this is what I use this for, I have these, and this is another resource, they're called Anki cards. You may or may not be familiar with them, but the front it's just like the digital version of note cards. You're going to put the Russian word on the front, and then the quote-unquote back, you'll put the English meaning. But what you'll do is you will get your audio file that you downloaded of the word, and you will drag it over and place it in here. So once you fill out the rest of the different fields, which they're customizable, so you can do yours however you feel best. Once you add that, you'll have that audio file that will play every time this card comes up, and it will help you with the native pronunciation. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is the Wiktionary. It's basically a Russian dictionary, and this will help you with pronunciation and also the etymology. Sometimes that's useful to be able to understand how a word is broken down, with the suffix, prefix, the root of the word, and so on. And it's good for learning vocabulary and trying to understand more deeply what a word means. Because the Russian vocabulary is very interesting, and a lot can be contained within one word, a lot of meaning. The next thing I want to look at is ChatGPT, actually. So when I'm trying to remember a Russian word, the thing about Russian words is they sound nothing like the English equivalent in some cases. They're not all going to be cognates. And so when I'm trying to remember a Russian word that is hard to make a mnemonic for, what I'll do is I'll use ChatGPT to give me a good one, and it just makes it easier to remember that word for the first few times. Of course, over time you'll be able to remember the word naturally, but for the first few times, it's in my opinion, in my experience, I use mnemonics. So as far as some translation resources, I mean, an obvious one is Google Translate, but there is also Yandex Translate. And so I kind of cross-reference them with each other to get a more accurate definition of what certain words are. So another resource that I have been using is called Conversation Exchange, and what it is it basically pairs you up with people that are looking to learn a particular language. You're looking to learn their native language, and so what you do, you search and you're describing your language partner. This person speaks Russian, so you in Russian, learning, what are they learning? They maybe want to learn English, and then you can narrow it down by proficiency and so on, but we're just gonna simplify it. And so you can gender, everything else, but you search and you will get people, we have one located here in the US, and some of them might be overseas in Moscow.
The only issue that I've ran across, obviously, the time difference. So depending on where they're located, they could be multiple hours ahead of you. For example, Moscow, I believe, is 7 hours ahead, and my Russian teacher is, I believe, another hour ahead of that, and so that's the only real issue with this. But it will put you into contact with native speakers, and you can correspond with them on Telegram to see if your pronunciation, your grammar, your word usage is correct. So the last resource I'm going to talk about are YouTube channels. And I'm going to recommend some here. This one is Comprehensible Russian, uh, and I believe her name is Ina. Also, Russian with Max is another one that I have listened to. And let's see, I would suggest Inhale Russian with Nikita. And for just one more channel that you might want to take a look at, I would look up Amazing Russian.
So I think that's going to wrap this video up. Hopefully this was informative, and hopefully those resources can help some of you. If you want to see more content like this, just let me know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.